Welcome to this edition of Follow That Food, the show that takes you around the world to find the beginning, middle, and end of the world's best food stories. On this edition, it's Island Spice to Lucky Dice as we follow that vanilla. First, we head for the hills where these glorious orchids feed their seed. Then it's off to Oahu to meet the godfather of Hawaiian regional cuisine before we set sail for Spain and an Andalusian appetizer that preps our palates for a visit with a trio of Tuscan royalty. Then it's on to Rome for a vanilla meringue masterpiece in grand style. And finally, a show-stopping Vegas dessert awaits with the papacy of pastry. So get on the fast track, cause this ain't no extract, as we follow that vanilla. Hello and welcome to the Big Island of Hawaii, where one of the most beautiful and one of the most fragrant flowers in the world produces a taste that everybody loves: vanilla. In fact, Hawaii is only one of 4 places on this planet where it will grow commercially.
From the hot sun on the beaches to the snow-capped mountains on the Big Island, Hawaii has just incredible variety of weather. So somewhere, someplace on every island, you can grow something that's different. We've got it all. It's paradise.
Vanilla is the only edible fruit of the entire orchid family, which is the largest family of flowering plants in the world. And the United States is the world's largest consumer of vanilla bean. Despite this, most of what we eat as vanilla flavoring is in fact synthetic. The demand far outstrips quality supply. And what is even harder to find is high-quality, real vanilla beans. In fact, Jim Redekop is the only American farmer of top-grade vanilla. He's combined his love of Hawaii with his passion for excellence and put it into everything he can imagine.
My wife will use it in everything because we're vanilla growers. We've got it in hollandaise sauce, barbecue sauce. We got it in everything. And the kids are they have to try everything. This is the best, Dad, right? They have to say that.
It's in school lunches, aftershave, car cleanser. It's there.
It's everywhere in our home.
Jim and his vanilla-loving family have staked their future on this 34,000 square foot greenhouse and created America's first commercial vanilla bean business.
It had been tried before, and a gentleman named Tom Karaoka definitely put a lot of research into it and really believed that it could happen. And what he was unable to do was to take it to a commercial application.
Why don't you explain to me, if you can, there are different kinds of vanilla,
right?
Different qualities of vanilla.
Right. There are 3 different types of vanilla. There's a pompono, which has no commercial value at all. Then there's the Tahitisan, which is grown only in Tahiti. And then there is the planifolia, which is grown in Madagascar, Mexico, and here in Hawaii now. And the 2 that compete with each other on taste and quality are the Tahitisan and the planifolia.
Vanilla is the second most expensive spice in the world after saffron, but it is the most labor-intensive. Why? Because during its maturity, which can take up to 4 years, you have to be there at exactly the right 4 hours to pollinate the plant, to grow the bean that is then taken and cured for 3 more months before it becomes what we know as the vanilla bean. And by the way, this can only be done in a band 20 degrees above and below the equator. That's what makes Hawaii perfect.
From about 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m., workers will come into the field and the blossom opens for 1 day individually. Each one has to be hand pollinated, so it does take a lot amount of time.
So if you don't get the orchid at those 4 hours on that particular day, the right kind of way, you lose a crop.
Correct.
Wow. Yeah. Once you've picked the vanilla, that's just the beginning. You
Correct.
have to get it to its finished stage. What are those stages?
Once we pick them, of course, they're washed. We do blanch some of the beans, sun dry them. It's a process of sun drying, take it indoors, outdoors, indoors. Then after that, we're doing the final curing, which is rolling them tightly, putting them in bags, putting them in dark boxes, and keeping them for storage. And that's where the flavor happened. You smell no vanilla flavor from the flower to the green bean on the vine to when you pick it to when you start to process it. It's those last 3 months in that dark, cool place that it just starts to get that aroma, it starts to build.
This is a mature vanilla bean, but obviously not ready for market. It has to be dried to this point. And then when you squeeze it, it should be plump, but dry inside. And you can tell by just touching it whether or not those seeds have too much moisture in them. And when you open it, look carefully. If you see something that looks like sugar crystals, that's pure vanillin. That's what you want.
That's our target, is to get that on all of our beans.
So, with 4 years and all that at risk and such a small window of opportunity, vanilla is almost a miracle.
Yes, it's a gift from God.
And that's no exaggeration. You see, the humid but not too hot coastline here on the big island of Hawaii provides the perfect drying environment for the bean. And then the cold nights crystallize the flavor. It's the perfect, slow humidor that God's given them.
The processing part of this industry is like making fine wine. I mean, the best wines come out of the best vineyards, and you know the chefs are the ones that take it, use it in a dish, and they'll tell me, I didn't like this too much, or this was good. Keep it just like, do it just like that. That's how I want it the next time.
Is there one chef in particular we should go looking for who's using your product?
Chef Mavro, definitely. He was the one, and he's been just a great supporter of ours.
In fact, Chef Mavro, who's one of the founding fathers of Hawaiian regional cuisine, likes his vanilla so much, he put his face on the bottle. And it's him I come to show me before we leave this luxurious land what you can do with vanilla, and I've never seen it before, lobster.
Yes, I think the lobster, the sweetness with the vanilla is a beautiful combination. It's a magic flavor. And it's the kind of flavor make us look good.
Right.
Because we don't have much to do.
You just throw it in, it all tastes better with vanilla. You put the sticks in too, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So while our creamy concoction infuses itself with vanilla flavor, Mavro begins the custard by whipping 3 eggs together, and then with vanilla aromas wafting, tempers it with cream. And a dollop of lobster caviar gives it that exotic oomph.
This is a very easy recipe, in fact. And this goes direct in the oven, covered with aluminum foil.
Right, exactly, as you would any baked custard.
Yeah.
And so Mavro continues by adding leeks, carrots, and a whole rainbow of Hawaiian root vegetables into a broth of white wine and water called nage. Next, he infuses lemongrass and star anise. Is anise like licorice? Is that the kind of flavor it is?
Yeah. So vanilla, licorice, everything works very well together.
And for a final touch of flavor, he adds poached lobster claw.
So now the nage is ready.
And when does the little custard come in?
Now.
Our vanilla-flavored lobster custard is placed at the center of Mavro's warm broth. I've got to try this. All right?
Please.
Oh. Okay. Cheers. Well, that's rich.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you got to have it with a lobster.
Yeah.
By itself, it doesn't do it.
This is a summer style of recipe, very fresh.
Well, congratulations. Hawaii thanks you.
Great, thank
From
you.
Chef Mavro and the magnificence of these marvelous islands to Spain. Coming up next, it's time I leave this beautiful island chain and follow our delectable bean to the nation that gave Europe its first taste of vanilla, Spain. Welcome back to Follow That Food. We've unveiled the vines that produce some of the finest vanilla in the world. And now we're going to follow our perfumed pod to the gorgeous gardens of Spain. Spanish explorers found the first vanilla in Mexico and brought it home here to Spain as a perfume. It wasn't for 20 years till Cortez arrived back and says, guys, you eat the stuff. Since then, they've been doing nothing else but. And it's here, at the heart of Andalusian cuisine, that we bring our Hawaiian vanilla. The first people ever to taste it are going to show us how they do it today. Here in the magnificent gardens of the once private villa of the Duke de Medinaceli, a member of Spain's aristocratic culinary heritage introduces us to the bean they brought to the world. Gabriel Gonzalez Gordon shares a family name famous throughout the world as a producer of the finest Spanish sherry. But here, he wants to impress us with an Andalusian adaptation of our Hawaiian creation. What is the dish he's going to make for us today?
Well, it's going to do a salad using obviously fresh products from the area. And the salad has got fresh langoustines.
And pineapples?
And pineapple.
Do you grow pineapples in Spain?
Yes, of course.
Really?
Yes,
it's
with
that
this
hot.
climate.
It's
we
beautiful.
grow anything.
Well, that's why I'm here.
Joachim begins by searing his langoustines in orange juice. Next, he blends sugar, pineapples, the broth from the langoustines, and the star of the show, Hawaiian vanilla, which he tears and crushes to release the flavor. The final step is to make the vinaigrette. First he adds sherry vinegar, then it's Worcestershire sauce, sugar hinted with vanilla, and with a little juice from the dressing, our Andalusian salad is ready.
A little bit of Hawaiian kitchen with the Spanish touch, which is the vinegar and the olive oil.
So he wanted to pay tribute to our Hawaiian vanilla
Exactly.
with a little bit of Spanish flavor and culture.
That's right, yes.
I am loving that.
And ready to go.
Yeah? Okay. Please. You must have some with me.
Yo voy a tomar la piña.
You're going to have a little pineapple, okay? I'm going to have a little langoustine and a little lettuce.
To try the langoustine.
Now, Gabrielle, we're very close to North Africa here, and I believe in North Africa there was vanilla rustling. It was so valuable in the old days.
That's right. I heard that vanilla was still on the plant. They used to brand it and they used to stamp it to make sure that each one knew where the plant or the vanilla
So
came
they put
from.
their individual initials on them.
Exactly,
so
yes.
No one could steal them and take them
That's
away.
right,
It was
yes.
that valuable.
That valuable was.
Unbelievable.
Amazing,
Well, I tell you what,
amazing.
he adds extra value to vanilla. This is amazing. Thank you so much, sir. Muchas gracias. And from a land still ruled by kings, we go to Italy to meet a real prince who cooks for a living, and his dishes are fit for a king. This is the great Cathedral of Seville, the final resting place of Christopher Columbus, the man who brought vanilla from the New World to the Old. And of course, being Italian, where did he really want to take it? Where we're going next. Vanilla is used very sparingly for two reasons. First of all, it's a delicate flavor that you cannot be heavy-handed with. Secondly, its cost. Both it and saffron are hand-pollinated and hand-collected. So where do you go where you know people can use food as delicate art? Well, if you're in Italy, there's only one place, the home of the Renaissance.
Firenze, Florence, a home to princes that appreciated the great arts of the world and fostered their development. Architecture, painting, and yes, food. They all owe a huge debt to the royalty of this tiny but important city. And one of those families of Florentine royalty continues that tradition today. Prince Alberto de Asburgo-Lorena, his son Prince Dimitri de Asburgo, and his brother Duke Soldano de Asburgo are all three wonderful men who entertain some of the world's most famous names with their love of northern Italian cuisine.
You have a very successful restaurant. Some of the biggest names in the world come here to eat your food. Why?
This is my passion all the life. When I go in the table and people tell me this is the best from the world, I fly, so we are butterfly. Honestly, this is maximum for me.
What a lovely father. Can I borrow him?
Of course.
Please.
No problem.
They're very eager to give him to me.
Pairing a roasted apple dessert with vanilla cream filling, Prince Alberto begins by blending egg yolks, brown sugar, and vanilla-flavored cream into an airy froth. Then he presents the roasted golden apples marinated in red wine and brown sugar and applies a generous amount of his vanilla custard cream and then a sprinkle of toasted almonds. It's time I tasted this princely Tuscan delight.
I've never dined with princes before. This is truly an honor, nor a duke, for that matter. Do you know when your family were running all of Europe, because you were both the Habsburgs and the Medicis, the two great families of Western civilization?
Very blue
Very
blood.
blue blood. Mine were being arrested for theft and being deported to Australia in chains. From my family to yours, it's such an honor to come back and meet you, sir.
Thank you very much.
My dead relatives are thrilled right now. Okay, now, can we try this?
Of course.
Yeah?
Please.
Yeah.
Be my guest.
Oh, wow. So, slow baking the apples, that's the secret, huh?
Yummy, yummy.
Oh my God, it's so creamy. It's so creamy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Soldano, grazie, molto grazie.
Grazie a te.
Dimitri,
Molte grazie a lei.
I love your hair. I just love your hair.
Talking of royalty, whilst I was in Italy, I was lucky enough to win an audience with the Il Duce of Dining, Umberto Vizzoli, winner of the gold medal for culinary accomplishment at the European Championships in Salzburg. He holds court in the splendor of one of the great hotels of Rome. So to meet a master like this who can take just one plant and turn it into so many different flavors, well, you've got to come to the Grand Hotel in Rome and one of the most beautiful boardrooms to meet Umberto Vizzoli. What is your secret with vanilla? You do something no one else does.
Because it's the semifreddo lime, it's not too sweet, ma ha bisogno di un qualcosa di grasso ma vegetale, olio d'oliva.
Oh, I see. So the fat comes from the oil and carries the flavor of the vanilla. You're very clever, Umberto.
Umberto begins this delectable dessert by cutting a wafer base using a mold. He then adds whipped cream, Italian meringue, syrup, and lime rind, and blends it all together.
You're folding it together with that love that your city is famous for.
Umberto is ready to build his citrus cream and meringue mountain. With a final touch of lime zest, he lets his little lovely refrigerate and harden for 3 hours. Finally, he liberates a perfect cylinder of sweetness. Then he drizzles the vanilla oil, more lime rinds, and adorns the plate with a handful of gooseberries.
It's sensational.
È anche profumato.
Oh yeah, I can smell that vanilla in the oil. Do you mind if I try a little? The vanilla olive oil. Oh my goodness. Stand back, just leave me a big bucket of this, I'll be happy. I'm a happy man. Oh. You know, the great traditions of Caesar Ritz, who built this ballroom, the first in Rome, live on today in your hands. Umberto Rizzoli.
Grazie.
It's time to try our luck with a Nevada desert dessert in Sin City next on Follow That Vanilla.
Welcome back as we follow our vanilla from the Hawaiian Islands to their beautiful destiny here in Las Vegas, Nevada, where, by the way, the largest number of Kama'ina, or native-born Hawaiians, live than anywhere else outside of their beautiful homeland. Why? They love the place, as does their vanilla.
Vegas, as the fastest growing city in the USA, is home to not only the Hawaiians, but also fun and food-loving Frenchmen, like pastry chef Jean-Philippe Maury, who has not only proved himself as the best pastry chef in all of France, he's the best pastry chef in the world, having won the World Pastry Championships here in Las Vegas this year. So where else could we possibly come to show our vanilla the kind of triumphant end it deserves? What are you going to do for us today?
So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to make syrup with water, sugar, some lemon peel, orange, cinnamon stick, and of course Hawaiian vanilla.
Why do you like Hawaiian vanilla? Can you tell there's a difference to, say, Madagascan or Mexican or any of the others?
You know, the problem in Madagascar right now, it's a big production, and some people not too honest in a production factory. What they do, they take the vanilla bean and they boil it with water and
to plump it up.
To get the extract, to make some vanilla extract syrup. And after they try to sell the vanilla at the real vanilla bean. But I mean, I'm going to say 50% of the flavor is already out.
Jean-Philippe begins by prepping his mini pears for poaching. First he hollows out the center, peels and puts them in the pot with his boiling blend of fruits and spices, and lets it cook for 3 hours. He then mixes sugar, egg yolks, and tempers it with his mixture of hot milk, cream, and vanilla.
And I'm going to use it to cook my pain perdu.
More simply, French toast, which Jean makes from his brioche. He then slices it, cuts out the center, and then soaks it in the vanilla cream before letting it sear into a golden crisp. And so, with all his pieces prepared, Jean is ready to assemble the dish. First, he fills his vanilla-soaked poached pears and carefully tops it with a marinated raspberry.
You made this earlier today.
Yeah.
You just whipped this one up for us before we turned up. That's why you're world pastry champion.
And so, with the vanilla ice cream base, the Pemperdou patty, and a cookie tuile adornment, Jean lays down the poached pear and surrounds it with raspberries.
This is the most spectacular food and the most carefully constructed dessert I've ever seen put together.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I taste that little pear?
Yeah, hold on. Let me.
That's
Yeah.
it. Raspberry, pear, creme brulee, the
Yeah.
whole, it's all there. Here's to your talent and thanks for your generosity.
Thank you very much.
There's a citrus in the pear.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, which gives a bite. And the bite blends with the creaminess and the vanilla and the creme brulee. Oh my God.
Very interesting.
And the raspberry has that lovely lemon in
Yeah.
it too.
Some ginger a little bit too.
This is a symphony.
Yep.
This isn't just one delicious little trumpet solo. This is a whole orchestra.
Thank you.
My goodness. Do you know what it makes you do? Explode.
Vanilla, food that feeds the stomach, the soul, and the psyche.
In fact, vanillin, or vanilla, is such a useful calmer of nerves that they use a derivative of it to give people a sense of well-being when they have to take MRIs. Not only tastes good, it's good for you. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time on Follow That Food.